Hey kiddos, guess who we have for night night tonight? If you guessed Jordan LeBlanc, then you are right. Jordan LeBlanc is going to be reading a book about money. And money is important because we use it to buy our favorite snacks and toys. Um, I, some of the kiddos in our live reads were saying that they were saving their money for something special. Are you saving your money for something special? And what is that? Some kids said that they were saving for a super soaker. I remember when I used to play with super soakers. So if you're saving for something special, then this is a good book for you. So without further ado, we have Jordan LeBlanc. Let's go.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jordan LeBlanc, and I will be reading with you all today, this evening. I think reading is important because reading is a way in which we can learn new things that we might not otherwise know. It also can give us things and put things in our mind that we wouldn't otherwise think of. And it can expose us to different things that we would have never seen any other way. So today, I'm going to be reading Cash's Money Rules by Dr. Keyon Anderson. Moving in a little closer so you all can see it. All right. So it starts off. As a child, I was always fascinated with money. When my parents gave me an allowance, I saved as much of it as I could with the hopes of funding my future goals. I read books about money and I talked to everyone willing to listen. To my surprise, not everyone wanted to talk about money. In fact, some even seemed uncomfortable when it came to the topic of money. So right here we see Kasha holding all her books about money. And she was talking about how when she gets an allowance, she saves her money. So when you all get money, and do you want to save it or do you want to spend it right away? It says, I've learned a thing or two when it comes to money. So here in this page, we see Kasha in her classroom talking to her whole class about money. And the teacher is even listening too. Do you all ever talk to other people in class or talk to people in front of the class? It can be scary sometimes, but doesn't she look really brave? To my fascination, my friends and family nicknamed me Cash Money. And eventually, me coming up with my 10 money rules plan to share with you today. She's center stage. She's about to tell us something good. Does your family give you a nickname? What's your nickname? Can't hear you. Rule number 1. Envision your future and create a plan. Here are a few questions to ask yourself. What do you want when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? Excuse me. What are your short-term and long-term goals? What does your future look like? So when you ask yourself those questions, you really want to think about it. Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's up to you to decide. You have to decide what you want to be when you grow up. Nobody else can make that decision for you. And short-term and long-term goals. There are short-term goals which take a little bit of time to get to, and there are long-term goals that you have to wait and be really patient and work toward at the same time. You can't just sit patient. You have to work toward them too, patiently. When I grow up, I imagine myself owning some businesses and helping other people reach their education goals, business goals, and money goals. So what are some goals you all have? I know when I was you all's age, I wanted to graduate from high school. That was a goal. And when I was little, that was a long-term goal because it took 10 years to get there from the time I was 8. And business goals, you want to own a business Do you want to play sports? Do you want to be a scientist? Do you want to be a doctor? Do you want to be a lawyer? Do you want to build cars? Do you want to be an engineer? What are your goals? What do you want to do? Rule number 2, invest in yourself. In order to reach my goals, I first went to school and received training from those who have already done what I want to do. If I wanted to save lives and help people who were sick, I must get training from a doctor. If I wanted to build beautiful homes, I must receive training from a contractor. If I want to protect and defend people, I must get training from a lawyer. So thinking of what you all wanted to be. So I asked what you wanted to be. Now, who are people that you would need to get training for? Remember, if you want to be a doctor, you got to get trained by a doctor. If you want to be a contractor, you got to get trained by a contractor. If you want to be a lawyer, you got to get trained by a lawyer. And then let's just say, for example, if you wanted to be a teacher, you have to get trained by a teacher. So who would you need to get trained by to become what you want to become? Oh, all right. Rule number 3, develop a good relationship with money. When I first began talking to people about money, I was surprised by how many people seem nervous to even talk about it. I realized that many people don't reach their money related goals because they have a negative relationship with money. Developing a positive relationship with money means that first you have learned how money works through saving, investing, and building wealth. Now, all of us need money for one thing or another: food, clothes, paying for our places to live. We all need it. So, in order to be successful with it, we have to become comfortable with it because money is something we all need. What are things that you or your family needs money for? Oh, those are good. Yeah, yeah, that too. I need that in my family as well. All right. Rule number 4, pay yourself first. In learning about money, I learned to pay myself first. Whenever I received my allowance, cut the neighbor's lawn, or delivered newspapers, I would put money away in an envelope called future plans before spending money on anything else. So here is Kash's envelope for future plans. And whenever she gets any money, be it $1, $5, $10, even $20, she takes some portion of that and puts it away. So if she gets $10, she might go ahead and put 20% away. So 20% will be $2. If she gets $20, she might take 25%, which is $5, and puts that away. So with this rule, whenever you get some money from your family, from your friends, from your brothers, for your grandparents, you want to take a little bit of that money and put it away in your savings for the future. All right, so we kind of touched on this rule a little bit earlier, but I'm going to go a little deeper with it. Rule number 5, understanding saving. While saving for the future plans, it's important to attach short-term, intermediate, and long-term goals to your saving. For instance, I wanted to save for a super soaker water gun. That's short-term. And some of you may not know what that means. So a super soaker water gun is a water gun, so you can fill it with water and just get all wet. It's perfect for the summertime. Ask your parents if they remember what it was. Another goal is intermediate goal. So an intermediate goal is just like a short-term goal, except it takes a little more saving and it takes a little more time to reach it. So Cash's short-term goal was an electric scooter. So it's intermediate because an electric scooter costs more money than a super soaker water gun. So it takes longer to save the money than it did for the short-term goal. All right. And then the last one is a long-term goal. So Cash's long-term goal would be for college. So when we think of goals, we want to break them down and figure out if it's a short-term goal, which takes a little bit of time or not that much money, an intermediate goal, which takes a little more time and a little more money and a little more work, or is it a long-term goal that takes a while, a long time? It's going to be a while, like maybe 10 or 12 years before she gets to college, but she's going to be saving all those years. So when it's time to come, she has a little bit of money saved up for it, or a lot of money saved up for it. So what are some short-term goals that you have, or some intermediate goals, or some long-term? I'll give you a minute. Just think about at least one for each. So what's your one short-term goal? Okay, sounds good. What's your intermediate goal? So this one is going to take a little longer to get to. Okay, and then what's your long-term goal? All right, thank you. All right, rule number 6, understand growing your money. Although saving money in my future plans envelope is a great way to save, my money wasn't growing. So I logged onto the internet to find ways to grow the money. I'd learned to save. I learned that there are 3 ways people usually grow their money. One way, fixed index. That means that there are no losses and the possibility of extreme highs. So what that means is, with a fixed index, you won't lose any of your money, and you have a great possibility of making more. So the money you have goes up with a fixed index. The second way is the stock market. Money on the stock market can have extreme highs, but also extreme lows. So this one is a little more riskier because the stock market can change every day. And the stock market is basically how our economy works. So some days our economy is going really well and stocks go up, and other times it's kind of low and stocks go down. So that's a risk right there. And then the other one is banks. Banks grow money at a slow but steady rate. So these are 3 ways that you can take your money and grow your money. Rule number 7, have a growth mindset, which is the way you think. Your mind starts here. So that's where your growth mindset starts. Aim for bigger than you think is possible. Don't limit yourself. For instance, not only can you become a doctor, you could own your own medical practice, or you can become a construction worker within your own construction company. So here in this picture, the doctor has his own doctor's office. He has his own medical practice. The construction worker is a construction worker for his own construction company. So if you were to become the boss of your own business, what would you do, and what would your business be called? I think for me, I would like to be a therapist and have my own practice where I can give therapy for people. Rule number 8, buy and hold. Buy something that will pay you for as long as you own it. For example, I charged neighborhood kids to play in my treehouse. Each time they came over, they paid an entry fee. Eventually, I bought 10 tree houses throughout my neighborhood and received money from every time a local kid went to play. You see there? That's a business mindset. The mindset is that if I can build one thing and make money off of it, which was the first tree house, I can build more tree houses and make more money off of them. So Kasha went from having 1 tree house to having 10 tree houses. Buying and selling. Buying and holding, I'm sorry. So as long as she has these tree houses, they can continue to make her money. Rule number 9, create multiple streams of income. With the money I received from my treehouse business, I created other streams of income. I wrote and sold books. I created and sold my own clothing. And I uploaded videos online and received money when people watched them. So this is something else to consider. You can do more than one thing at a time. Some people, I know some of us see our moms or our dads or people in our family go to work and they go to their one job and they come home. But if you want to do more than one thing, you can. There was once a time where I worked at a school and I worked at a clothing store. It's kind of fun. But if you want to start your own business, you can as well. You can have multiple businesses. See me, I had two streams of income because I worked at two different places. But Kash was talking about creating businesses that make money different ways as well. What are some things you want to do to make money? And there's no right or wrong answer. There's lots of different ways to make money. Rule number 10. We made it to the last rule. Rule 10, the golden rule, giving. In reading about people who created their success, I learned those who have the most give the most. I had to wrestle with this last rule. I am sharing with you before I could apply it. Now I give at least 20% of the money I earn to charities, schools, and other organizations who help people. So, one thing, it's really cool to earn money and send for ourselves, but it's another thing to help share it with others, because when we share with others, we're kind of in a position to help others and we're in a position to make more. Thank you for allowing me to share a few things I've learned along my money journey. My hope is that you have these tools, you'll make more informed money decisions. All right, so she gave us some helpful tools. So some of them we can start using now, and others we can put in our mental and our minds to help change our mindset so we can get ready for these things too. Because short term, long term, and intermediate goals are things that we'll be doing for the rest of our lives. So we can always change them once we reach them. All right, that is Cash's Money Rules by Dr. Keyon Anderson. I thank you all for letting me join you.